Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I feel like it has been forever since I have done a review for you guys. I am so excited to be back with you. So today I went and saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was very excited to see this film because I've seen the trailer again and again and again. They were heavily promoting this movie. It's got Leo, Brad, Margot Robbie, I love her, Al Pacino, Luke Perry, Dakota Fanning, Lena Dunham. She popped up. So I had an open mind going into this film. I'm not the biggest Tarantino fan. I admittedly have not seen a lot of his movies. I've seen Kill Bill 1 and 2, and I've seen parts of The Hateful Eight. I have not seen it in its entirety. I should do that. I should see more of Tarantino's work. But going into this movie, I knew it had a long runtime. I knew the Manson murders were in the movie somewhat. I didn't really know what to expect because it is Quentin Tarantino. And so I will say my pros and my cons, and then at the end I will say, do I love it or do I hate it? So that way my fellow review crew at home can decide if they want to spend their money in the theater or not. So here are my pros. Leo, Brad, they are my pros. They gave wonderful performances in this film. Leo plays Rick Dalton. Brad Pitt plays Cliff Booth, Leonardo DiCaprio's stunt double professionally. And this movie is essentially about their friendship and how Rick Dalton is dealing with becoming a fading star. He's been a star of TV and movies, and his career is kind of taking a nosedive. This is in 1969, and his star is fading a little bit. It's starting to fade, and he's kind of having a midlife crisis moment about, what am I going to do? I'm not good enough. He gets a role in this TV show and he makes a mistake and he freaks out. He's so hard on himself. And so I can't help but think, did Leo actually use his own "am I a fading star," kind of psyche to this whole film because of what's going on? And I thought that's great source material. Just use your own life into this role. And then Brad Pitt, honestly, was just eye candy to me. I mean, he did have some good lines. He had a couple of fight scenes. Being a stunt double, I wish they would have utilized him a little bit more and had him fighting a little bit more on screen. He did have a nice fight scene with the actor portraying Bruce Lee. However, I wanted more. I wanted to see Brad Pitt just do more physically. He was doing a lot of driving around and, following Leo around, being his shadow and everything. And I just wanted him to have a little bit more to do. And then Margot Robbie, as much as I love her, and I thought she did a good job in this movie as portraying Sharon Tate, she is not in this movie a lot, like at all. She's promoted as being one of the stars. She's barely seen in this movie. I think she's in about a half hour total in the entire 2 hours and 45 minutes. I mean, it's not a lot at all. If you think you are going to see a movie about the Manson murders, you're wrong. If you think you're going to see, like, I don't know, a cowboy western movie, kind of you're right a little bit on that, because they do a lot of the background story and a lot of like flashbacks and things like that of Rick Dalton's career and Cliff's career. However, this film essentially is about the friendship between Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth. I mean, there is one scene of them together sitting in Rick Dalton's home watching television. So the audience is watching them watch television. And I don't know if that would have been as captivating if the two stars were not Leo and Brad. If you had any other actors in that role, I was trying to name someone, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. If you had anyone else in those parts, this movie would not have been as captivating. Now, here is where I'm a little bit disappointed. The runtime. This runtime is so long. It is 2 hours and 45 minutes. And with Quentin Tarantino, I knew this film was going to have a long runtime. However, Avengers Endgame is 3 hours long. It did not feel 3 hours long. This movie felt very long. And there is a long stretch in the middle. They could have chopped that up to pieces. There was a lot of things we did not need. At one point, Margot Robbie, as Sharon Tate, goes to the movie theater to see herself on screen because she wants to see the people's reaction. And we're focusing on that for about 10 to 15 minutes. Why? We got the point of what she was doing. Why do we need to revisit that again? Because it cut to a different scene with Leo and Brad, and then it went back to her sitting in the movie theater. Why? It was such a wasted amount of time. I feel like this film could have been portrayed so much better if the runtime was shorter. It would have had more of an impact for me if the runtime was shorter. And I don't know what was up with all the dirty feet or focusing on feet in this film. I think I heard that Quentin does have a foot fetish. I'm not 100%, but I think that's what I heard. But this has feet all over it. Dirty feet at that, because it's the late 60s and you have hippies walking around with no shoes on. So that was kind of distracting as well. It's like every single scene kind of like had a foot in it, or I don't know. I was just kind of turned off by that. But overall, the performances from Leo and Brad were my favorites. And on the scale of love it or hate it, sorry guys, I'm in the middle. I didn't truly, authentically love this film, but I didn't hate it. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm disappointed in it because I had high hopes for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really thought this is going to take the awards season by storm. It's going to get nominated for tons of awards. Now with seeing this, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. And my focus is now elsewhere on other movies because to me, besides maybe the performances from Leo and Brad, this film is not Oscar worthy to me. This film is not Golden Globe worthy to me. It's probably going to get nominated, but in my opinion, it would be a waste of a nomination. I think there are other movies coming down the pipeline that are going to be worthy of nomination. So overall, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Meh. M-E-H. Meh. I'm meh with it. So if you have an extra 3 hours to kill and you have nothing else to do, go and see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And if not, you might want to wait for it on streaming. Sorry, Quentin. Don't hate me. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go see The Farewell, and I will do a review of that. And then Friday, I believe I'm going to see Hobbs and Shaw, and I am excited about that one. So do not forget to hit the red subscribe down below. Hit the like button, and I'll see you at the movies.